Welcome to the XP Team USA podcast. We're digging the plugs and pinpointing the topics you want to hear.
And now, here's your hosts, Dave Kimball and Grant Hansen.
This show is brought to you by XP Metal Detectors. XP Metal Detectors is a high-end, innovative metal detector company with great machines and great pinpointers. For more information, go to xpmetaldetectors.com. For a dealer near you, try a Google search or go to xpdeus-usa.com. Hello and welcome to the XP Team USA podcast. I am your host, Dave Kimball, coming to you from Central Oklahoma, and I am joined today by my co-host, Grant Hansen, coming to you from New Jersey. How you doing, Grant?
I'm doing well, Dave. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Been dodging a lot of tornadoes and having really rainy weather, but other than that, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah, I try not to complain too much about the rain here in Jersey. I mean, it's been raining for a week. We're going to get another week's worth of rain, but I don't have tornadoes to deal with right now. So, that's why I won't complain about it. I just wanted to get dry and be safe.
Yeah, I've gotten them pretty close to me so far. I have one come about a mile east of me, hit some trees and out in the middle of nowhere. And there was one about 30 minutes west of me, which was a pretty bad one. Hit a trailer park and hotel and everything. So, and we still got some more coming. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's rough. I know Josh Kimmel out in Ohio, he was experiencing some, and other parts of the country. The weather's just been insane.
Yes, yeah, I know. I'm ready for the summer.
Yeah, tomorrow we may not get some rain. So if I get a couple hours, I'm going to go out and detect, because got to take advantage of it, because I think we're going to just get another week's worth of rain over here.
Yes, and I went back to work, so I've been working nonstop, trying to get some money in. So I've been pretty busy.
Yeah, full-time student, full-time work. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, I just a busy guy.
Yeah.
So today we have a pretty good show. We got Jim Kochevar and Alan Carpenter, the Minnesota Beach Boys.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to them because they do a lot of water hunting. And I have a water kit for the Deus, but I've only used it once or twice. And they're really motivating me to get back in the water to see what I can find.
Oh, yes. And congratulations to them, too, because they are new XP Team USA field reps.
Yeah, great representatives for our team. Very happy to have them on board. And they've been contributing a lot to our YouTube channel. So if you haven't already, swing over there and check it out, because they've got some great videos on water detecting.
Yeah, and we also have Bill Hayes from Ohio on here, one of our listeners and a great contributor to our chat. And he won a lot of products, too, from us.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk to Bill. Haven't spoken to him before. And like you said, he's on our chat every time we're broadcasting, live chatting with us. Really appreciate him listening, as we appreciate everyone who listens. So I'd like to maybe see this become a regular thing where we get some of our listeners on the show.
Yeah, that'd be pretty interesting. Yeah, and the deadline for the XP Team USA coil contest is today. That's courtesy of XP Metal Detectors America. They will be announcing that winner pretty soon on our Facebook page.
Yeah, that person will be a very lucky winner, because they get to choose any XP coil that they want. So it's a great contest, and thanks to XP Metal Detectors America for helping us out with that.
All right, well, we'll be right back with Bill Hayes.
This segment is brought to you by Omega Mill Pouches, the official digging pouch of XP Team USA. If you're looking for a rugged, hunt-tested, washable pouch, look no further than Omega Mill. Get on eBay and search Omega Mill Pouches. That's OMEGAMILL.
We'd like to welcome Bill Hayes to our show. Bill is a longtime listener of our podcast, winner of past prizes, and is very active on our live chat. Welcome to the show, Bill.
Yeah, Nice to be on here with you guys.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us, coming to us from Ohio. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, former work life, family, stuff like that?
I'm retired now. I retired about 2 years ago. I worked, I think, about 20 years there with the government service. I was with the Air Force for a little while there, and then I went to contractors, Air Force contractors, and retired about 2 years ago. And I live here in Heath, Ohio. It's about a little east of Columbus, and I've got family. I'm not married or nothing, but I got 6 brothers and 2 sisters. Some of them scattered around the country, but there's still a lot of them around here.
So how long have you been metal detecting?
Oh, I started back in 1975.
Wow.
My first tech that I used was an old Relco Frontiersman, if you know how old those are. It was an old BFO. Used that for about 2 weeks and then upgraded to a white 63 Goldmaster, the TR, all straight, all metal, and that thing was a tank.
And you were pretty much just digging everything, right?
With that thing, you had to dig everything. There wasn't no discrimination. But I got a lot of good stuff that way, too.
Yeah. So you have a lot of siblings. Do any of your brothers or sisters? So you're interested in metal detecting?
Yeah, I've got 2 brothers that do, detecting, and then I got a couple of nephews that are into it, too. I guess I was the one that started the whole thing.
So as a seasoned veteran, what changes have you seen in the hobby of metal detecting?
Just some of the detectors, it's just night and day from what it used to be to what it is now. I would just love to have had what I got now when I first started. It's been amazing.
Yeah. And do you still dig everything?
Depends on where I'm at.
Yeah.
If I'm in a field or in the woods or something like that, I'll probably dig about everything. If you're out hunting in a park or something, it's kind of, you try to be a little more careful with it. And if you know it's not good, I usually don't dig there just to keep from destroying the grass and stuff. You don't want to make a big mess.
So when it comes to detecting, what is your preference? Do you like the farm fields over the home sites, the parks? Where do you really like to go?
Here, the last few years, I've really gotten into the farm fields and the old cellar holes and stuff like that. I spent a lot of time, digging parks and stuff like that. You got a lot of coin and stuff, but, it was, it was like, bluegill fishing. You get a lot of action, but no keepers.
Tell us about this beautiful 1916 standing Liberty quarter you found.
Yeah, I found that's probably been about 15 years ago when I found that. It's got a full date on it and everything, and it probably run about in the VG range. It's fairly well worn, but it's still, you can see everything on it. And the same day I found that one, I found a 17 Type 1, which probably would have, the condition would have been like, very fine or better. It was a really nice coin.
Wow.
So that was kind of wild to get two like that the same day.
Yeah.
And do you just like slab them and keep them in your own collection? Do you sell those things?
I've still got both of them.
Nice.
They've never been slabbed or nothing, but
Okay.
I still got them. That's one of the things. It's just I would never sell it. You'd never get another one probably.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's like one of my top bucket listers is a standing Liberty quarter.
Yeah, when I got the standing Liberty quarter, I got the good one too.
Yeah, especially with the date still being on there. I think there was some sort of error when they made them before 1926, so the dates often wore off of them.
I think they had the dates raised up on them, and after that they more or less sunk it into the coin.
Yeah, right.
But I know a lot of the earlier ones, you can't see any date on there.
Mm-hmm. And speaking about real American treasure, you found a couple of pieces of Native American copper, which is really high on my bucket list. Can you tell us a little bit about what you found and how old they are?
They're from what I've been able to find out, they're like tools that they use for woodworking type or cleaning hides, something like that. I think it was they called it a celt and a gouge or a gorge or something like that. It's two pieces. They actually fit together. One looks like a very skinny, small, tomahawk shape, and the other is just a big piece of copper with like ribs on the sides of it, and the celt just goes down in the middle of it. When I found them, they were both, one was stacked on top of the other. They were probably about 7-8 inches deep, right at the base of a giant oak tree. When I first popped it out of the ground, I had no idea what it was. I had just seen the shape of the celt and that, and I was thinking, 1700s stuff or something. And, I put some pictures online, and a couple people come back and told me, go to this site and check it out. And from what I've been able to find out, I think they said it's either Woodland or Hopewell, and it's like about 1 AD.
Wow. That's amazing. That's great.
Yeah. It was one of them finds you just come out of nowhere. In the area that I'm living in, we have, the Native American Indian. We got one of the biggest mounds in the country, the Great Circle Mound. This was found probably 4 miles away from there.
Oh, wow.
What kind of non-metal Native American artifacts have you found?
I've gotten some arrowheads and stuff like that. Not a whole lot of stuff. Used to, when I was kids, we would go out and walk the cornfields and stuff and find them, but I haven't been able to do that in a long time.
Yeah, I've only found one point, and that was just while I was metal detecting. Wasn't looking for it. Happened to just spot it on top of the ground, and I was pretty excited to find it.
Yeah, I actually, earlier this year, we was digging an old, house foundation, cellar hole, and I got a signal and went and started digging. And I think what it turned out to be, there was a button in the hole. And while I was digging the hole, I found an arrowhead in the hole with it.
That's pretty lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will be right back after this with Bill Hayes. XP has introduced its new ORX machine, a high-end machine at a mid-range price. The ORX has 4 factory preset programs, 2 gold, 2 coins, also 2 user programs. The ORX comes with a high-frequency coil and is compatible with the X35 coils. The ORX is now available in the USA. And we are back with Bill Hayes.
And you also find your fair share of Civil War relics. What have been some of your better Civil War finds?
I've gotten, the remains of 2, bayonets. I've got the pretty, it's pretty well rotted out, but it was about 2/3 of a Springfield bayonet. And then I got the socket and about 4 inches of blade of a 4-point Austrian Confederate bayonet. Both of those were found down LaGrange, Tennessee, at an old campsite down there.
So do you get to travel out of your home state for metal detecting very often?
Usually, a lot of times, I also do a lot of the seated hunts from different, areas. And, I've traveled a lot, pretty much all over the country doing that. But every once in a while we go, if I get with a group of people, we'll go somewhere and do some digging. I've done digging in Virginia about, I think, 6 times.
Yeah, Virginia's not that far from me. Maybe it's about, 5 or 6 hours, but I got to get down there. I haven't dug in Virginia yet.
If you go to the Culpeper area there, the ground down there will blow your mind.
I've heard, yeah.
The first time you run into that red dirt, it will get you talking to yourself.
Hey, speaking of organized digs, tell us about the Buckeye Championship treasure hunt. You've been leading that for about 40 years now, right?
This will be our 40th year this year. Me and my youngest brother, we've been doing it for, this will be the 40th year. We hold it down there on the property I own down in New Concord. It's kind of rolling hills, but we plant a lot of silver. We probably plant 8,000 to 10,000 silver dimes, and then one hunt we have, it's a big silver, and it's quarters, halves, and dollars or smaller, like half rounds or something like that. And then I always have it the third weekend of August every year. This year it's the 17th and 18th. If anybody wants information on it, they can go on Facebook, just type in, Buckeye Championship Treasure Hunt, and it'll bring it up to our, hunt page. And you can get download the flyer from there, or, there's a lot of information or, a lot of old pictures from previous hunts on there too.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that sounds pretty fun. How many people usually attend to that?
Oh, we usually have about, 80 hunters, and, used to be we'd get up to over 100, but some people don't travel like they used to. But we get people from all over the country come in. We've had people from Arizona, California, Florida. We've even had a few from Canada come down.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So what other hobbies do you have besides metal detecting?
Like I said, I like to go looking for arrowheads and stuff like that. Or I've not really got into the bottle digging yet, but if I run across them, it's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And do you go to? I know you do the organized digs, but I think you've recently met up with Tim Glick at a Civil War show, right?
Yeah, we was up at the Civil War show in Mansfield. I think that was the second time I've met him up there.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Such an inspiration.
Yeah, one of these days I'm going to have to get with him and we'll have to get out and do a little digging.
Yeah, are you far from him?
I think it'd be about an hour drive.
That's not bad.
No, that's not bad. No.
I'm on one side of Columbus and he's on the other side.
Mm-hmm. So you found Native American copper. You've found some great Civil War stuff, an amazing silver coin in your 1916 Standing Liberty. What's topping your bucket list right now?
Like everybody, gold coin, but, that. And I'd like to find I've never found a trime. I found two of the 3-cent nickels, but I've never found a trime, and I've never found a 2-cent piece yet. And it was just kind of weird. I found reals and large pennies and all that stuff, but I've never found those two.
Yeah, I've still never gotten a trime. I've got a couple 2-centers, but the trime still eludes me, and of course, so does a gold coin.
Yeah.
I've dug the gold coins in the seeded hunts before, but never got one out in the open. Just a guy get the loop over top of it, I guess.
Yep.
So I got to ask you, Bill. Now, I ask everybody this. So if you were given a one-day pass to metal detect anywhere in the U.S. that's always been off limits to metal detecting, where would you hunt?
There's two places I'd love to try. That one of them would be Gettysburg, and the other would be Shiloh.
Mm-hmm.
I've hunted in, just off the park at Shiloh. We've got a friend down there that owns a property. His farm actually was on the battlefield, but it's, private property. So we've been able to do a little hunting there and gotten bullets and buttons and stuff like that. I would love to go out and get in just one time, just see what you could find. It'd be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine what must be under there. Goodness.
Yeah. Last two times I've been over at Gettysburg, just, you just walk around the fields and stuff like that. It's like, you almost like, I would love to hunt this, but, it's strictly off limit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it was great having you on here, Bill, and congratulations on all the prizes that you won. You won the Omega Mills pouch and
hat and a shirt and some other things. Yeah. It's great you guys do that type of stuff, for people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and we really appreciate you listening to us and participating on the page and everything else.
Yeah, maybe we can do it sometime again.
Yeah, great. And again, as Dave said, thanks so much for listening and especially, joining us for our live chats on Fridays when we air. We really appreciate that.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time.
Check us out online at xpdeus-usa.com.
If you are needing the highest quality digging tool for metal detecting, then check out Predator Tools. Their digging tools are made from chromoly 4130 and heat treated and tempered to ensure the highest quality product. Predator tools are made in the USA and are also used in the United States military. All of their tools carry a 5-year warranty and are proven to be the toughest out there. So check out Predator Tools at predatortools.com. We'd like to welcome two guests to our show tonight, James Kochevar and Alan Carpenter, aka the Minnesota Beach Boys. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hi. Yeah, thanks for joining us. I'm really excited to speak to both of you tonight and hear all about your adventures. Could you each tell us a little bit about yourselves, a little bit about your family life, work life, and how you got started detecting?
Okay. I'm 62 years old. I'm retired, married. My wife and I live out in the country. When I say out in the country, I mean way out in the country. Like 20 miles from a gas pump.
Wow.
So it was pretty remote. A little bit about me. My work life, I worked construction most of my life after I got out of the Army. I did a little bit of everything. I went to college and got a degree in industrial technology. Then I mainly worked in construction management after that. I got started detecting in 1993. I was in Fargo, North Dakota, walking through a mall. And I walked past a hobby shop, and they had a display case full of coins and pretty neat articles. I went up and I was reading the sign, and it said it was all found with a metal detector, which was kind of an interest to me. So I went inside and bought a metal detector, and that's how I got started. I always had an interest in coins since I was a child. I guess I was maybe 8-9 years old, and I was working in a garden, and I found a 1919 Wheatie, and ever since then I've been collecting coins. So I've amassed thousands of coins.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I tell everybody I shouldn't say I'm a collector. I'm more of a hoarder.
My name's Al Carpenter. My wife's name is Tammy. We've been married for 34 years. I have 4 wonderful children and 13 grandchildren. The way I started to get into metal detecting was I bought my wife a metal detector. She wanted to try it like 13 years ago. Well, she didn't care for it, so I took it over. And ever since then, I've loved it. I did water hunting for probably the last 4 years, and everything I learned from it was from Jim. He taught me how to pinpoint underwater, and my kids, they all hunt and fish on off season. When there's not metal detecting going on, I hunt and fish every day I possibly can. But it freezes up here pretty quick, so our metal detecting season ain't very long. So during the summer, we got to try to get as much as we can in. We've been out in the water twice already this year, 2 times, maybe 3. I think it's 2. But we're ready to hit it hard again.
So what led both of you hooking up with Lenny Quaylen and testing out the ORX at the old mine site?
That was all Alan's doing. He was chatting with Lenny online, so I'll let him tell you the story, how he got us down there.
Yeah, I seen Lenny. He posted a video that he was going to some old school down there by in the center of Iowa, and I texted him. I told him, I said, I detected that last year. Well, he sent me back, how'd you get that? It's private property. Well, here his nephew gave us permission to go in there, and I metal detected. I didn't find too much. I found some coins in the back, but ever since that, I called Lenny then on the phone, and we talked, and he said, if you ever come down to Iowa, come over to Enterprise. Well, we made a plan right away to go down there, and it was a blast. It really was. I mean, the stuff that you find down there, everything was old in that cornfield, it was a blast.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of the pictures of all the stuff you guys were finding, and it looked fantastic. And this was your first time being introduced to the ORX, is that right? What did you think about it?
It was my first time with the ORX. I hadn't had too much experience on the Deus even, because I bought one for my wife, and I learned it enough to teach her to use it. So when I got on that, I was a little familiar with it, but I just started out, and I was impressed on how it worked. When I got back from Iowa the next day, I ordered one.
And then I swang it the next day, and I loved it. And that IM6 pinpointer, I couldn't believe how it worked. Mm-hmm. And the machine was so easy to set up and use. And when it locked on a target, it locked on a target. I mean,
and it's great how it goes through the earphones too, right? If you got the setup.
It's the first time I ever heard it come through that like that. And it was really awesome to hear it come through the headphones.
So how does detecting a site like that differ from your land permissions in Minnesota?
Well, in Minnesota, I had never done much field hunting up here. It's mostly wooded country or parks and yards is what we do. I've done quite a bit in the woods, and it's pretty brushy and tough to do. So when you're on an open field like a cornfield, that made it easier for me to detect. I could walk along and not be tripping and tangled up in the brush or anything, which was a big plus and very enjoyable.
We had a blast on there. There was a little stubble, but it was so much easier than metal detecting up here in our thick woods. I mean, we're crawling through brush and trying to get the old spots, from years ago, but it just ain't that old up here like it is down there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
So, and most people don't consider the Deus or the ORX as water machines, but you both have been pretty successful with it. What kind of things are you finding in the lake over there?
Well, we went out the other day and we found 3 rings. I mean, we hit a spot that we pounded so hard with other machines, and we went in there and we pounded it late last fall, so we just went in there now, and I know no one's been swimming yet this year, so it's rings that we missed and all the coins. And yesterday we went out and did a lake, and we found some really awesome stuff, but that's going to go on the next video, so I don't know if I'll tell you guys what it is.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Keep it.
Yep, we had some awesome finds yesterday, boy.
Yeah. So between both of you found hundreds of rings, gold, silver, just about everything. Do you currently have a competition between you two on who will find the most?
Right. It's just a friendly competition. We keep score, and all rings count as an ace ring. It doesn't have to be gold or anything, but it's a friendly competition. We don't work too hard at it. I'm just as happy when Al finds one, and he's just as happy when I find one. It's that way. It's exciting.
We just love seeing them pull out of the water. We probably got about 500 rings total between both of us that we've pulled out in the last few years.
Yeah, that's amazing. And do you hoard them like you hoard the coins, or what do you do with them?
Yeah.
Well, as soon as I walk in the house, the wife puts her hands out. She wants them right away. She wants to look at them to see if she's going to put them in her jewelry box. But if there's a name or something on them, we always try to return it to the person if we can find out who lost the ring. Like class rings are pretty easy, if they're not too old to find the person to return it to. But
Al, why don't you share this story about the class ring you found at Babbitt?
Yeah, I don't know if that was last year or the year before. Me and my other buddy were out there metal detecting, and he called me over for something, and I was swinging my detector, and I walked over to him in the water, and bam, I hit a good sound, and so I dug it up, and here was a class ring. Well, when I got home, I went on Facebook, looked up his name that was engraved on the inside, and here he was from Duluth. Well, I guess he lived up in Ely at the time, and his girlfriend was wearing it on his neck and lost it. And I thought he said 38 years ago.
Wow.
Well, when I did finally return it, I mean, he just started bawling because his girlfriend just died last year, and she always wondered about that ring. So he's tickled too.
Yeah, that's a great story. Thanks. That's could be such emotional returns, and I think you probably got one of the most that I've heard about.
Jim's had quite a few too here.
One of my favorite, well, I've got a couple favorites, but one of my personal favorites, I was detecting with Al at a resort beach a couple summers ago, and I found a military dog tag from World War II. And being a veteran, that was kind of special for me, and I wanted to return it to the family if I could. So I went home and I got a subscription to Ancestry.com. I looked on there and I found out that the guy had passed away already. So I was able to determine what town he was from, which is a town close to where Alan lives. So I just looked in the phone book and I found 2-3 last names like that, and I called. I just happened to hit the first one and asked him if he knew this guy, and he said, yeah, he's my cousin. And I told him what I was up to with the metal detector, and I wanted to return the dog tag, so I made arrangements to meet him in a couple days. I went over there. Turns out he was a veteran, too, so it was kind of interesting. He was able to get a hold of the World War II veteran's sister. He thought that she was still alive and in her late 80s at the time. And I give him the dog tag, and we visited, and he was going to return it. And about 2 weeks later, I get a beautiful letter in the mail from a lady thanking me how much she appreciated it. It was his daughter, because the cousin that I talked to didn't really realize that his daughter was still alive. She sent me this beautiful letter and told me that she was so happy to get it, and she had heard about the metal detecting story and all that. And she thanked me, and she said she was going to put it on display with his burial flag. And that was pretty touching for me.
Yeah, that's very touching.
We had one ring return already this year. Who's a couple weeks ago. A lady called, she lost it at Christmas time. She fell down, and I went over there a couple days after Christmas. It was 10 below, and we probably had 1.5 foot of snow already, and I couldn't find it. I looked all over what the day is. I told her I'd come back in the spring, and I went there it was right after Easter, I believe it was, and she told me where she fell down, thought she lost it. Well, it wasn't there. It was farther down the sidewalk. And, I found it, returned it to her, and that night, the next day, it was their anniversary, and they were married for, I believe it was 43 years. So they were tickled pink to get that ring back.
Yeah,
and the lady was nice enough to go to the newspaper and do a big write-up about Alan returning the ring and everything, too. So that was pretty nice.
Yeah, that's always appreciated.
Yeah, I do a few recoveries myself, and yesterday I went out to do a recovery for a class ring that a guy had lost while he was putting up fence posts, and he was putting up metal fence posts and pouring concrete in there, and I could not find it anywhere. And he thinks what he did, he took it out and put it in his pocket, on his breast pocket on his overalls, and he thinks that it might have fell out in the hole where he was putting the post in, and he's like, it might be in the concrete too. And I looked everywhere. I said, man, that's the only thing you could probably do is pull them posts up. And
start breaking them open.
Yeah. So let's talk about equipment and gear. What kind of gear do you wear when you are in the water?
Well, right now it's pretty cold out. We're using waders right now, neoprene waders, because it is still pretty cold to get out with the wetsuits. And I think the surface temp is like 51 degrees on the water right now, and imagine a lot colder down below it. But then after it warms up a little bit, we use full wetsuits with neoprene boots on it. And wearing those, you stay warm. You can detect a lot longer. You don't get no bloodsuckers on you. You don't get swimmer's itch. That's the way to go.
What's the deepest that you all usually hunt in? Do you ever go like to like neck deep or under your head, or just like to your waist?
Neck deep. Neck deep. Yeah, that's sometimes when the water's a little bit lower, I try to reach out and I can maybe get 3 or 6 feet further out, and there's still stuff out that we hadn't got that's out farther. So I get out as far as I can, but I don't go under.
It gets a little scary when you're way out there. It was last year we were at a resort, and I was at the end of a dock, and I went up to my neck, almost up to my chin, and I'm swinging the detector, and bam, something hits my coil. What the heck? And then bam, it hits it again. So I'm starting to backtrack to get back towards shore, and this otter puts his face right up in my face, within probably 6 inches of my face. But it scared the heck. I thought some fish was trying to attack my coil or something, But it was the otter.
Wow.
I don't know if he didn't like the frequency of it or something he didn't like about the coil.
There's some pretty odd things that happen sometime. Last summer, too, we were at a beach, and I was probably only in knee-deep water, and Elle was a little bit further out, and I looked up, and here come a muskrat swimming. Kept swimming. I had to step over and get out of its way, or it swam right into me. I said, hey, Al, look at this. And he's watching it swim to me. Went right past, kept going.
I guess they're pretty used to humans, huh?
I guess. But I heard a guy one time talking about how the animals can hear frequencies that we can't, and sometimes it'll attract them or set them off, Mm-hmm. And I was at a park all by myself one day, and a hunting dog come running up to me, and I looked down. It was a nice hunting dog, and I looked across the park, and there's a guy coming, and he's hollering for his dog, and he got there, and he apologized for the dog to come running up to me. And I said, oh, no problem. And he said, I don't know what's in him. He's never run off like that on me before. And I said, maybe he could hear this frequency that we can't hear, and he came running to me for it. That was kind of interesting, too.
Well, how much does a wetsuit or a dry suit, like a decent one, cost? I imagine that adds to the expense of your hobby.
Well, yeah, but I think I got mine for about $130, and then maybe another $35 for the boots that I wear with it. So it ain't too bad. It's under $200. You can get a good wetsuit set up.
And Jim goes with the 5 mil. I purchased a 7 mil, and it's a little too hot midsummer. I think the 5 mil is probably the best all around, but it does let you can stay in longer with that 7 mil towards winter time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when you're determining where in the water to search, do you look for something that's just a beach, or do you do additional research that needed to ensure a good location?
Usually beaches is primary. There's a lot of concentrated items in beaches, and sometimes one of the things that Ellen and I like to look for, if we can find out where they're at, on some lakes, there's sandbars out in the middle of the lake. And what people do is they'll go there and anchor their boats in, say, 3 feet of water on a sandbar, and they have parties out there. And there's a few places like that, and it's not uncommon to see 40, 50 boats anchored on the 4th of July having a party, and they're water skiing and jet skiing, but they're all anchored on the sandbar. And they're pretty loaded with goodies when you start detecting them.
And then another thing, like when we do go to an old beach that really isn't a beach no more, if you follow the nails out, because most of the time the docks are just left there and they rot away, but the nails are still there. They don't disappear. But once you get to the end of those nails, you know you're at the end of the dock, and that's where you find a lot of good stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine people are jumping off of that and splashing around, so things are likely to come off.
Right.
My son purchased it's called a hookah this year. We're going to try to do a little diving just to get out a little farther. It's a little Honda motor that goes in an inner tube with hoses down, and 2 can go down at a time. And we're going to try that this summer once it warms up.
We found out, like where there's been in the past, years past, where there's been swimming rafts or something like that were anchored out, say, in 10, 12 feet of water. So we're going to try and locate some of those places.
You teased it a little bit before, and without giving too much away, what should we expect to see on your upcoming videos on the XP Team USA YouTube channel?
Well, I think it'll be the second one, not the one that's coming out tonight, but there'll be another one probably in a week or something. And it's just 3 great items we found there. They're really old for up here.
Ellen found them. If you want to do the friendly competition, he kicked my butt yesterday.
It was all luck. I can tell you.
I'll let him tell you.
One of the items is a trade axe. I've always wanted one. I crapped my pants, boy, when I lifted up and looked in the scoop and I seen that trade axe in there. I mean, that beautiful shape. I mean, when it came out of that sand, it was probably at least 18 inches down in the sand. And when I pulled it out, it was pure black. It didn't even look rusty. But when we set it up on the boat and left it there for a couple hours, it all rusted up. It was oxidation from it, from the air. But I found 2 other super nice items yesterday, so they'll be on the video.
You don't want to share them, huh, Al?
Well, I might as well tell you guys. You want to know, don't you? Well, the other one is a big, heavy axe. I found these 2 5 feet apart from each other, and as far as I could tell, it's a Hudson Bay axe. And then the last best item I think is I found a sword scabbard.
Oh wow!
Made out of brass. And it has an eagle on it with a shield underneath the eagle. And we've been trying to research this now for 2 days, last night and today, and we can't find nothing about it.
Wow. Yeah, I saw the picture on that you guys posted. Beautiful scabbard cover. And I know sometimes that's the frustrating part of research. You do all this work and you still just can't get that positive identification.
I'm pretty sure it's early U.S. military because of the eagle and the shield. You see that on a lot of it. I found a couple pictures that were close with an eagle and a shield, and it would say U.S. on there, but this one doesn't have the U.S. So I'm thinking it's probably early 1800s, and this area, being that it was in an area with a couple old early axe heads from the fur trade, it was probably came through with the fur trade and explorers on the fur trade route. Yeah. And that's how it ended up there.
And then last year, it was pretty close to the same area, but my son dug this old silver coin. It was probably about the size of a 50-cent piece. Well, we got it home, and we dated it and everything. Here, it's 124 BC shekel. Now, how in the heck did that get up in northern Minnesota?
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And it was deep in the sand. And we sent it away. It came back. It was a fennec, but they didn't want to grade it because there was a hole through it, a punched hole. Not a drilled hole, but a punched hole.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
Unbelievable how old of a coin, 124 BC.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, everybody go to XP Team USA YouTube channel and check them out on they're the Minnesota Beach Boys that'll be on our channel, and very interesting stuff. But I want to ask Jim here a question, and I'm going to ask both of y'all this question, but starting with Jim. If you were able to detect anywhere in the U.S. that's always been off limits to metal detecting, where would you hunt?
Off limits?
Yeah.
Well,
if you had a one-day pass to hunt anywhere.
Well, it would have to be a Civil War site somewhere. I've never been able to get to hunt Civil War artifacts, and I think that would be a blast. And it really wouldn't matter where, as long as there were some artifacts there. So it'd be in mostly the south and the east, I think.
And I'm going to ask Alan the same question. Where would you hunt if you had a one-day pass?
I'm really into Indian artifacts. I love finding Indian artifacts, and I mean, I wish there's some places you can go and look for them, but I know it's off limits, so we can't do that. But there's a lot of Indians back up here in the days, and you do find a few artifacts around, but that's my favorite thing to find, probably.
I've only found one artifact in my career of detecting, but I wasn't looking for it, so I guess that's not so bad.
Yeah, I got lucky.
It's always fun to find in the scoop.
I got lucky enough to get invited out to a spot here in Oklahoma that not too long ago, and it was a French trading post back in the 1700s that had a couple of Indian camping grounds that are all around it. And I found a lot of metal points and some jinglers and all that. And that was really cool.
That would be nice.
Yeah,
were they copper or no?
I'm not sure exactly what type of metal they were. They're just black. So
Okay.
I don't know. I like, maybe I'll do a test on it one day and just and find out exactly what they are. But there were just all kinds of little points and tips and jinglers, and there was even some spots, some musket balls and that was around the French trading post, and parts of guns that were around there too. But there's there's an old map too that kind of shows the layout of how it used to look, and it had like little teepees around the area, and it'll say these were where the Indians were, and it's a pretty cool spot.
And then I'll go back a second here, and I'll tell you something quick. The best thing I like seeing in my scoop though is a hunk of gold. A big gold ring is the ultimate all the time when you can get a big nice gold ring, when it clunks in your scoop, Jim found a platinum ring last year that weighed, I think it was almost 16 grams, Jim?
Yeah, it's pretty good size.
Wow.
It was a big chunk.
So is there a particular bucket list for both of y'all that you're constantly looking for?
Yeah, I've got a quite long bucket list. But Civil War, I'd like to get a U.S. buckle. That's one of the things I'd like to get.
And me, I don't have no seeded coin. I'd love to find a seeded coin. That's definitely on my bucket list this year.
I'm sure they'll both come. You might have to travel for that buckle, but you know, once you get out there.
I've had the good fortune of going to a pretty unique site in North Dakota one time a couple of years ago. A friend of mine got permission to go, and it was down on a flat area right by the James River, and it had been a hunting camp for the Métis Indians for many years. And I don't know if you know much about them. I didn't know anything, but I learned a lot going there and listening to this guy tell the stories. But they hunted buffalo, and it was an area that had been washed over when the river flooded. There was no grass, just soil. And there were buffalo bones and teeth everywhere. And you could pick them up. And I got a whole gallon bag full of buffalo teeth, and then I got some points and stuff like that there. That was pretty cool. There was china, broken china. The Métis were, they're a Canadian recognized tribe now, but they were a mixed breed, European fur traders and Native Americans, and they were kind of ostracized by both cultures, so they formed their own culture. And they were nomadic hunters and fishermen, and they trapped, and they'd take all their buffalo hides from hunting. They'd take it to St. Paul to the tanneries once a year on carts that they made. They call them the Red River ox carts. So that's a short history on this site, but it was fun to detect that one.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like a great property. I want to thank both of you, Jim and Al, for joining us on the podcast tonight. We'd love to have you on again because I think we have so much we can talk about with you both. And I'm really excited to see your new videos coming out on the XP Team USA YouTube channel.
Yeah, me too. And I really enjoy watching the videos that y'all have already out there, and we really enjoyed talking to you.
Well, we hope we can get out and get some good ones, and maybe show some stuff that we find that's on our bucket list. That would be good.
And we're only on number 2 lake out of 10,000, so we got a long ways to go this summer.
Act fast before it freezes over.
Yeah.
That's right.
Thank you guys for inviting us on this program tonight.
Yeah, no problem.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right, well, we'll see you. If you have a question for one of our guests or just like to make a comment,
call us at our XP Team USA podcast hotline at 405-294-3602. XP Metal Detectors now introduces the new X35 search coils designed around a brand new electronic advances. These new high-performance and versatile coils will allow you to choose from a wide range of frequencies ranging from 3.7 kHz to 27.7 kHz. In total, there are 35 available frequencies based around 5 main frequencies that are quickly accessible. A new boost mode is now an option on frequencies 3.7 kHz to 4.4 kHz and can significantly increase detection depth on highly conductive targets such as large masses and large silver coins. The new X35 search coils will now be available as option as the same price as the previous coils, and also now will be standard with the brand new Deus. So get your X35 today.
All right. Well, that was the Minnesota Beach Boys. They're really interesting to talk to and really got me wanting to go get me a water kit for my XP Deus.
Yeah, like I said earlier in the show, they've got me amped up about getting back in there. And now, after talking to them, I'm even more excited to go out there and try. I know we could use the water kit in the rain, but I'd like it to stop raining for a little bit just so that the water levels go down and they're not as strong. And I can get in there and see what I can find.
Oh, yeah. This Memorial Day weekend, a lot of the lakes in Oklahoma were closed due to high water. So that's not good.
No, it's definitely not good. So we'll see what the rest of the summer brings, but hopefully it'll calm down a little bit and get our feet in the water and our feet wet, so to speak, in water detecting.
Yeah. And I'd like to mention Todd Roy. Check him out on Twitch. He got live streams he's doing metal detecting in, and he's like one of the first guys to do this on Twitch. Twitch is mostly, for anybody who don't know, it's like a gaming channel where you can watch people game and do stuff like that live. But Todd Roy's brought it to another level by doing metal detecting on Twitch. So check that out.
Yeah, and if you don't know Todd Roy, he's very entertaining. He's also a comedian. So, his live feeds are worth the watch for sure.
Also, check out some of our new YouTube channel videos. We got some new ones out there, and they're pretty good.
Yeah, just go to YouTube and search for XP Team USA, and you'll see our full library. We've got a couple really well done, lengthy features on there. When I say lengthy, about 20, 25 minutes. And then we've got a lot of short clips from our contributors. So a really good mix of content.
Yeah, and y'all heard from Jim Kochevar and Alan Carpenter earlier, the Minnesota Beach Boys. They got some pretty good videos. Like I said, they'll make you want to get out there and do some water hunting.
Yeah, definitely. When you see the kinds of stuff that they're finding.
If you have any great finds you want to show off, send them in to XP Sonia for your Deus Dandies at xpteamusa@gmail.com.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity for you to be in our YouTube channel videos. Simply take a picture of the find and also you holding it and, submit them to Sonia for a chance to get in our video.
And don't forget to check out our Facebook page and our website, xpdeus-usa.com, and our YouTube channel. And go and listen to Josh Kimmel, Beyond Sight and Sound podcast is very interesting also.
Yeah, he airs every Sunday and Wednesday nights, and he also has a very, very active chat when he's broadcasting live, so highly recommend you check him out.
Yeah, and our next show will air June 14th, so we will see you then.
Take care.
Get that permission, put the coil to the soil, and we'll see you next time right here on the XP Team USA podcast.